If I asked you what the most unnerving thing in a video game was, I'm not sure what you'd answer with, but I know what I would answer with. I've played a lot of video games. I've played ones that make my skin crawl, ones that make it hard to breathe, ones that make me look away, and ones that still linger in my thoughts long after I've stopped playing them. And after playing so many, I've realized that there's one thing that makes me more nervous than anything else. I thought it would be a monster, or maybe a jump scare, but it was actually something way simpler than that. Time. Or should I say the lack of it? Only when I realize how important a second is, do I realize how many I waste. But even more terrifying than that, I realize how little I have left. If you have history with anxiety, you might want to skip this game. That may seem extreme, but allow me to explain why. Risk of Rain 2 is one of the more unique games I've played, and because of that, it's pretty hard to describe. But have you ever heard of the term, a race against the clock? Well, that line captures the essence of Risk of Rain. There are plenty of games out there that make you want to go fast, but this one's different. Because I shit you not, time is your enemy. This game is a roguelike, and it's gonna make sure that you know that. You will die, you'll reset, then you will die again. A Risk of Rain run is kinda like fighting a Dark Souls boss. Except there's one more catch. Remember me mentioning that time was your enemy? Well, for every second you spend on a run, the difficulty will be increased. In a typical Risk of Rain run, and yes, before you ask, typical is the key word there, you will have to clear 5 stages before entering the final arena. And in order to clear each stage in a typical Risk of Rain run, and yes, before you ask, typical is the key word there. Typically, you'll have to find and activate a teleporter on each stage. And in order to activate a teleporter, you'll have to defeat a boss. This isn't too hard, but the process does take time. A resource that you don't have the luxury to waste. Every second counts. That's the rule of Risk of Rain. And because every action takes time, it means every decision has consequences. Do you save up to buy an extra item, or do you start the boss fight without it? These are the kind of decisions that you will have to make. And they will matter because this game is pretty brutal. Every survivor comes equipped with unique tools, but that won't be enough to win. If you want to come out on top, you need to scavenge for better items, plan your routes, focus down dangerous enemies, and so much more. It's not funny. Even when you've become comfortable with survivors and environments, this game still finds a way to mess with you. So you're probably wondering if I've got any advice for this. But the harsh reality is, at the end of the day, this game will cheat you. So cheat it back. Everything that you can think of, anything that comes to mind, it's all fair game here. Orbital strikes, deadly poison, crazy sprint speeds, maybe a super jump. Craft the perfect item or take a gamble. But whatever you do, don't slow down. If you make it to the end, well, I think you get the general idea of what happens. This is Mithrix, hammer enthusiast and the second biggest trash talker I know. Trust me when I say this, that hammer is not for show. Mithrix may be the king of nothing, but it'll take everything you have to defeat him. Tougher times, soldier syringes, lens makers, if you've got it, then make use of it. Because I promise you this, Mithrix certainly will. Everything you've done has led here. From the second you started the run, up to the final battle, it was all for this moment. Every decision you made, every item you found, every second you wasted, and every second you saved, they all come back to this. So when you're finally here, you'll be left with one question. Have you done enough?
Oh, that's hot. That's hot.
You should seriously consider becoming a screenwriter.
What in the actual